Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. Well, hi, dear ones. Welcome back to the podcast. We're talking about Grammy Camp today. I hope you're curious. I'm going to talk about the 10 things that I learned from hosting Grammy Camp. I'm so excited to share this with you. I was actually sharing this idea with one of my coaches, and she's like, oh my gosh, that is so incredible that you call it that. It's so incredible that you don't just say, I'm keeping my grandbabies for the week, that you call it Grammy Camp. And it's funny because, 3 grandbabies here this weekend. And it's funny that I don't have memories like this at all from my childhood. I don't have any memories, being with my grandparents much at all. I especially don't have good memories. I should say that. And I heard somebody mention this years ago, I'm having all my grandbabies over and it'll be kind of like summer camp. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my wheels started turning even back then before I had any grandbabies. I'm like, oh, for sure. We're going to have Grammy Camp. And there's a big difference between saying I'm hosting Grammy Camp and all of the things that conjures up and all of the ways that it helps me show up how I want to and create, the experience with my grandbabies that I want to create, because intention really does change everything versus saying I'm keeping my grandbabies for the weekend, or I'm babysitting for the weekend. It goes from turning it into this weekend of wonder and magic. And, I'm so very grateful to the tools of coaching that I feel like have helped me do this, really create intentional experiences for myself, show up with the kind of energy and joy and presence that I want to bring, not just for them, but for me too. I want to create amazing memories with my kids and grandkids, and a decision to do this on purpose is just part of living your life on purpose. So I wanted to share some things that I learned from hosting Grammy Camp. Was really all about slowing down and connecting, about really living life in small but magical ways. And so whether you're a Grammy or a mama or just a woman who's trying to create a more joyful life, I think you're going to love this lesson. So let's dig in to what I learned from Grammy Camp. Okay, number 1, presence is louder than perfection. Now listen, y'all. I had a 3-page menu / activities calendar printed out. Now, I did have ChatGPT help me do this. And I basically was like, here are the kind of things that we want to eat. Here are the snacks I want to have. Here are the activities that I want to do. And I just let ChatGPT kind of arrange it all. And it was perfection. But listen, what I noticed is all of those ideas that I had for our Play-Doh time and our sand table and our water table and our birdhouse painting and our treasure hunting, all of those Pinterest worthy, activities that I had scheduled are not really ever where the magic happens. The magic happens when I stop multitasking and I'm just sitting on the floor with them and we're just playing, or we're just belly laughing and we're having a good time. And literally so many moments like that. I had one of those moments this morning when the boys just woke up and we were out on the porch and it was beautiful outside, the amazing lake, the breeze, the boys were playing in the sand and I was playing dinosaurs with them in the sand. And I literally got so choked up because I'm like, this is what I live for, creating experiences like this where I can really enjoy it, where I can really enjoy them. Now, did we have fun with all of Grammy's scheduled activities? We had a ball. We painted birdhouses today, and it was so funny because I put craft paper down, all over my kitchen table so it didn't end up with paint all over it. And I got the little 18-month-old Noe his birdhouse and got him all set up. And then I got Elijah all set up, and Elijah's almost 4, and he was like perfectly, painting his birdhouse, and he knew just what color he was going to use and then what color he was going to use next. And of course, Noah just goes at it like a little crazy toddler, and he's painting all over everything. They had so much fun until Noah decides to climb on the table. So I was over by the sink at this point, getting a towel, like a washcloth to clean them off. As soon as I leave, he climbs up on the table. He gets paint everywhere. He starts painting his brother's, birdhouse, painting himself. And so then I am trying to wrangle him and get him down off the table. And then he grabs the craft paper, you guys, and pulls the craft paper out. The birdhouses, well, one of them went crashing down and didn't break, thank goodness. Elijah was so upset because his birdhouse got turned over. Oh, that little Noah is something else. Those second babies, y'all, those second babies are wild. So Grammy's little Pinterest perfect birdhouse painting turned into craziness. All the better. Noah had paint literally all over him. I think I still have paint on my shoulder, purple paint on my shoulder. The boys could care less how messy it gets, but I think, it's all of those times that you might consider boring or ordinary or whatever that I find when I can just really be present, stop thinking about the food, stop thinking about, the next thing I need to do, and just enjoy them. And the boys remind me of that so much. We also had baby Juniper here this weekend. She's still here, you guys. It's so magical. I got to have a moment in the swing with her where I told Savannah, I said, this moment in this swing, rocking this baby and singing to her in this swing makes all my Grammy dreams come true. So it's those moments when you can just really be present and enjoy it and really soak it all in. So, have all your plans, but the plans usually go by the wayside. The second thing that I remembered, I think I knew this, is that time moves so slow for little kids. And when you have little kids, right? And I think that's such a good thing, because as adults, we're always rushing. We're rushing to eat. We're rushing to work. We're rushing to clean up. We're rushing to sleep so we can, rush all over again the next day. And toddlers really remind us to slow down. I kept thinking of this time when the boys, they would stop, we live on a little private drive, so they would stop in the middle of the road and just watch ants and just get down in the road and, oh, Grammy, and they would tell me to come here and watch the ants. And I'm like, oh, to have time to just watch the ants do their thing. Or, when we're doing something like bubbles or whatever, they narrate, the way they narrate the world, everything that's happening. I just love how time slows down. It's funny because this morning, I don't know, it was probably 9:30 or 10. And I thought to myself, we've been up for 3.5 hours. We've had breakfast. We've had time on the porch. We've played with the dinosaurs. We've ridden on the cars. We've jumped on the bouncy house. We have already had ice cream cones. By the way, pro tip, if you've never bought those tiny ice cream cones, and I think most brands of ice cream make them, but they're teeny. They're like the size of your finger. We ate our weight in tiny ice cream cones, and we had some right after breakfast today. But I just love how connected they are to what they're doing and how time slows down. And, we could learn a lesson from it. I so enjoyed it. Number 3 is that kids don't need all the extras. They don't need you to be cool. They just need you to be with them, to be connected. And they won't remember my 3-page, planning spread for our time together. They won't remember any of the food I made. They won't remember any of that, but they will remember how much their Grammy loved them. I do think that one of these days they will look back on that and go, oh man, she really must have loved us so much to, put so much love and time and effort into something like that. Because I'm really good, I love hosting things. And even in my business, I love hosting big events, and I love, pouring into people. And we can, even if we're good at that, that doesn't always just necessarily translate into the little things that we're doing for our families. And I hope that someday they'll remember that they were truly loved and truly enjoyed The times that we just sat on the floor and played, the times that we read books. That little Noah loves to read books. We read 100 books this weekend. And I think that connection and having you there and having you sitting on the floor with them, that's really what they crave. Hi, guys. I just wanted to pop in real quick to tell you about one of my favorite things lately. Did you know that over 85% of grass fed beef sold in U.S. grocery stores is imported? And now, with new tariffs going into effect, that foreign meat is about to get even more expensive. That's why I love goodranchers.com. Every cut of beef, chicken, and pork is 100% born, raised, and harvested in the U.S. from local family farms. That means you're not just buying meat, you're supporting American ranchers and getting food you can trust. And here's the best part. Good Ranchers is tariff proof. Their fully American supply chain protects you from unstable grocery prices while giving you consistent top tier quality. There are no antibiotics, no added hormones, and no seed oils, just clean, delicious meat. And can I just say, the Good Ranchers bacon is some of the best we've had. It's a household favorite. Right now, when you subscribe, you'll get free meat for life and $40 off your first box with our exclusive code HOJ. That's code HOJ at checkout at goodranchers.com. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. Number 4 is emotional regulation is contagious. I have been learning so much the last few years about nervous system regulation and emotional regulation. And it's something that I practice a lot when I'm with them on Fridays. It's something that I actually practice a lot with Tom. But really learning how to regulate your own nervous system, because when you're calm, they're calm. When you settle, they settle. You get tense and overstimulated, so do they. And, I think that having people in your life who slow down and really enjoy you and can stay regulated even when it feels a little chaotic, like today, the moment of the pulling the craft paper, knocking over the paints and the thing, it can be a little chaotic with little kids. But knowing how to bring yourself back into regulation to become a thermostat for the room is something that I really do love practicing. And it's not easy. Like, I remember when I had little kids and I could definitely get more reactive and more wound up. And I just am thankful that as a Grammy, I can really practice this again to be kind of the calm, grounded, loving, nurturing person for them and to really do it on purpose. The 5th thing that I learned this weekend is the little things are always the big things. Again, I go overboard. I know I do. It's fine. You guys, I probably didn't need as many, activities planned ahead of time as I had, but I like to do it. I like to have things scheduled, but it's never those times. It's, reading the same book 6 times over. How many times did we read Brown Bear, Brown Bear? 20 times. The songs that we sing before bed, the times when we lay on the floor and they like for me to put them on, my feet up in the air like airplane. But it's always the little things. It's always those little moments, those little snuggles. And it makes me so grateful that I've learned to be present for my own life. I do think this is why I'm so thankful to have learned how to do this, to have learned to do the healing for my own self, because it has allowed me to have presence, to be more energetic, to be able to bring so much intention to my life for all these little moments. I'm so thankful that I feel like I'm really present for the little moments. Number 6, being a grown-up is sacred work. Now listen, I'm not just entertaining little people when I'm with them. I'm not just, there to, I am there to keep them safe, but it's not just about that. I really want to model to them what love feels like, to teach kindness without teaching a lesson, just by being who you are. And, we talked about this on the podcast last week, the one we did about legacy, but I feel like it's so true. Legacy isn't loud. It's just the quiet repetition of showing up when you're tired, showing up when they're tired or they're cranky or they're scared, and just being present for them. It really is such a sacred thing to be able to be there for a little one. They're so magical. Like, they're such magical little creatures. I was watching today how little Junie was, responding. This is really the first time that we've been around her when she can see your face and, respond. And she just, oh my gosh, you guys, she smiled so big at me. It's almost like she laughed and it's like even her eyes were smiling. And I'm just grateful, like just grateful to be on the receiving end of such amazing love and to be able to in turn give that back to them. Such preciousness. Number 6, it's okay to take breaks. We did this a lot. Mid-afternoon nap on the porch, nap time for the boys, like laying down with them and, making sure they get their nap times, porch swings, any time in water, is a little break. I feel like for myself, I have to, 2 little toddler boys are so active. I don't know. I haven't even checked my watch in like 3 days, but I bet little Noah and I got 15,000 steps a day. They want to go up and down the stairs. They want to go in and out of the house. Like it was just so much fun. But it also requires that, you take some breaks. And for me, those little break times, swinging on the porch or, sitting in the front lawn or jumping on the boat, those little breaks are really necessary. It's funny because as soon as little Noe and Eli left today, Grammy had to go get a hot bath. So, you do have to get in a little bit of time to take care of yourself. They need you to be regulated as well. They need you to take care of yourself. I did a lot of things ahead of time so that I could do this, so that I could be really present and that it didn't feel so crazy. So as many of the things that I could do ahead of time, I did. I had different little stations where they would play different toys that I knew would kind of bring them down a little bit, in one room. And then outside we had different stations. We had like the sand and the dinosaurs out on the porch. And that was kind of, a little bit of a more quiet, restful play. So, even the food, I had a lot of the food prepped ahead of time and I knew what I was making so that felt easier. So anything that you can do, to make it a little easier on yourself at the time. I just wanted myself to be able to be really present. Number 8, your true self shines with kids. There's no posturing with kids. There's no pretending with kids. I ended up I wore a dress every day this weekend and every one of them had to go into the wash. I don't normally have to wash my dresses, but I'm like, oh, there's peanut butter on that one. And oh, there's Paw Patrol yogurt on that one. And, who cares? My hair, I got a glimpse of my hair yesterday and oh my gosh, you guys, lopsided ponytail, frizzes sticking up everywhere. Kids don't care. They just want the fun you, the real you, the silly you, the strong you, the tender you. Like they could care less. And I think that if we let them, kids really do bring out the best part of us. Like I said, for 3 days, I don't know what I looked like and they don't care, but they will, I think, remember that, oh, that was a really fun weekend we have with Grammy. Number 9, legacy is not what you teach, it's what you live. And literally, I feel like we spend so much time in our culture when we think about legacy, thinking about what I'm going to leave to my kids. We talked about this on the podcast last week too. And I have reframed that for myself, that legacy is what I live with them. And I so want that for my grandbabies. And I think we are writing a beautiful legacy every time we slow down, every time we choose presence, every time we carve out time like this to just be with, our families, to be with our kids, to be with our littles. To me, that is the important thing. They could care less about the rest of it. And so, I'm trying to learn from them. And the last thing is that, these little times that we have together is how I create my house of joy. I think about that. I think about the title of this podcast and why we called it House of Joy. And I think about my own growing up and how so often in my early years, there was just a lot of chaos and a lot of trauma. And I just so intentionally want to create joy for myself and for the people in my house. It's half the reason why I make the decorating decisions that I make in my own house is because of that, because I really want even the decor to speak to joy. I want to create a house of joy. That is my wish. That's my intention. And so I feel like from, everything that we do, from, different toys that I wanted to have for the kids so that they would really enjoy themselves, to, the way we do bedtime and the way we wake up in the morning and the way the house is set up. Like, I'm literally always thinking about, how can I set things up, even just in the house, so that it makes joy easy, so that it makes cleanup easy, so that, it makes it easy for us to live this life of intention, this life of design, where we want to create the experience that we want to create for ourselves and for our families. So, Grammy Camp was a huge success. I am so grateful for my kids for trusting me with their babies for a few days. And I'm so grateful for the health and the energy and the intention to create a weekend like this. So, whether you're a Grammy or an aunt or a mentor or a neighbor or a friend, you are shaping legacy every time you show up with love, with joy, with paint and glue and peanut butter on your hands and on your dress. So host something this summer that allows you to create the experience for yourself and your family that you want. I really do think intention changes things. It'll help you show up exactly the way you want to. It'll help you create experiences the way you want to. And I think it has allowed me to be truly, truly present when I know for a fact, if I hadn't learned how to do that, how to create experiences, how to create energy, how to be intentional, I don't think that I would enjoy weekends like this nearly as much as I do. So I'm so thankful for the time to slow down and connect. And I hope you'll do the same. Create a magical experience for yourself this summer, and maybe for those kids and grandkids. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you soon on the next episode of House of Joy. Bye for now.